Hello, friends. I've just finished reading a book called When China Attacks. The biggest threat to our democratic way of life by far is the Chinese Communist Party, which in effect is the Chinese government, and they are one and the same. Let's start with human rights. The Chinese people are most victimized by their government because of food shortages. They're being placed in concentration camps because they displease the party. If you're considered to be a religious or political enemy, they're having your bodily organs removed and sold. The next big issue is the South China Sea. It's extremely important you're aware of this. China has built these artificial islands in that area, and they're turning them into military bases that threaten nearby countries. Now, be aware that the China Sea is an important throughway for commercial and fishing vessels, and also it has very strong strategic implications. And when China controls that, we have a big problem. Taiwan is a key objective for China. They are leading, that leads to the domination of Asia and Pacific area. And the belief is, it's even worse than that. If they control that area, we have lost our U.S. credibility with the countries we agreed to come to their aid. China controls that, we lost more than people think. Now, biological warfare. Now, there are more than 30 locations in China that develop bioweapons. Now, COVID-19 came from a virology lab in Wuhan, China, which caused us massive U.S. economic slowdown. As a matter of fact, the Chinese initially referred to it as the Wuhan virus. So they can't give us that story that it just happened. It was developed there and it spread. U.S. pharmaceutical industry has moved much of the manufacturing overseas, much of it to China. For example, ibuprofen, acetylphenidine, and penicillin is made mostly in China. Now, fentanyl. This is 30 times more powerful than heroin. That originates in China, and then they give it to the Mexican drug gangs, and then it comes mostly to the U.S. In 2021, over 100,000 Americans died from drug overdose, mostly from fentanyl. Now, the following U.S. companies were bought by Chinese state-owned companies. Did you know this? Smithfield Foods, AMC Theaters, GE Appliances, and Motorola. China is a major supplier of batteries. And these batteries are used by the military, which makes us dependent on Chinese batteries. Chinese hackers, they stole hundreds of gigabytes from more than 30 global organizations. We're talking about companies that provide us defense, energy, aerospace, pharmaceutical, and biotech. Oh, they got into Lockheed's Networks. Lockheed, a major air manufacturer. They got into Lockheed's networks and stole classified information related to the F-35 stealth bomber fighter. Now, Chinese also hacked into satellite companies and also air defense telecom companies. Now, these people make the satellites that are vital to us, and they have the capability to control the satellite's position and orbits. Very serious. Now, in closing, Senator Dianne Feinstein. Her husband made much of his money from Chinese business dealings. Senator Mitch McConnell, okay? His connections to Chinese money connected to his wife, Aileen Chao, and their family shipping company. So I'm telling you this not to scare you, but please be aware of this. And thank you. Bye-bye.